and make you stare at this guy the rest of the day. So, staring at him, he's staring. She's staring. See what to be like if you. So I'm still staring at him. So much. We stared at him for a while. We did nothing exciting, and marriage fights are great because they're all very dumb. I would say 90% of them are dumb. 10% the cops show up. But we got in a fight once over chocolate milk. We didn't talk for 24 hours. What happened is I brought chocolate milk home, and she was like, "Why did you bring it home?" And I was like, "You're supposed to drink it after you work out." And she was like, "That's not true." And I was like, "Well, there's a commercial on TV that probably looked into it more than you did." So I decided to listen to them. And she said, "That's just the milk people pushing chocolate milk." And I was like, "You don't even know what that statement means. You don't know if there's milk people." And I think chocolate milk's doing fine. I don't think they're sitting on barrels of it. And they're like, "We got to make up a lie. We got to get rid of this chocolate milk." She went to college, all right, and I did not. But she did not study chocolate milk. When is it good and not good for you? To be fair to her, though, I do not work out. So, you know, but I was probably going to start, and I needed to get all this stuff there. Do you ever get in those fights, like you'll be at home, like by you and your spouse, and you guys are not talking to each other, and but you're in the house together, no kids, the house is quiet, and you just stay on opposite ends, and then you pass each other in the hallway? That's like the funniest part of it, because you don't live in a mansion, you have one hallway, and you just didn't time it out right, and you just have to walk by each other like strangers. You're like, "Oh, excuse me, sorry, yeah, no, go ahead." She'll be watching TV. I'm like, "Ma'am, are you watching this?" I couldn't tell. I was going to change it if you weren't watching it. We're just not good. Guys are not good at marriage, all right? It's not our fault. We weren't prepared for it like women are. Your whole life is built just preparation for marriage. Look at every toy you played with. When you're a baby, they give you a baby doll. So they give you a baby when you're a baby. You don't even know you're alive yet, and they're like, "Look, I would probably start figuring this out. Like, this is where it's going." Then they give you Barbie and Ken. They live in a little house together, and that is where you learn how to make drama. Then you would play house. Like you would, like, fake vacuum. Just fake vacuum with your friends. That was awesome. And it's weird, because like when I see my wife vacuum now, I'm like, she is living her childhood dream. She's made it. As a guy, we don't have any of that. What do we we play Fort? You got to keep everybody out of where you are, especially girls. The only toys we had were Transformers and Ninja Turtles. Those are not even real things. None of them had wives. They weren't married. I never played with my Ninja Turtles, and I had them going to fight Shredder. And then Michelangelo was like, "Hey, can y'all give me 2 seconds? My wife just showed up, and she looks furious about something." "What? What do you want from me?" And she's like, "What are y'all doing? What's that April skank doing here?" You're like, "Listen, she's a reporter." I got in trouble with my wife because, like, on her last birthday, I got her an oven. All right, pretty nice oven. Take it easy. And the reason I bought an oven, because, like, I know, like the vacuum, her other favorite toy as a kid was the Easy Bake Oven. So to go with her big girl vacuum, I got her a, like, grown-up adult oven. Like, there was heart behind it. Like, that's not, that's not impressive. If she came home and bought me a truck and it turned into a live robot, I would lose my mind. Freak out. One of the best fights we got in, the fight wasn't good, just ridiculous fight, was over the saying "one fell swoop." Just over this saying. And if you're a newlywed, you're like, "Well, that doesn't make sense." You're right, it doesn't. This is a double-digit married fight. This is when you've already done all the dish fighting or the putting your clothes away fighting. This is when they're trying to mentally break you. They got you almost how they want you, and this is the one that sends it over the edge. So my wife, she wanted to go visit her parents one weekend, and her parents are divorced, and which has been hardest on me, to be honest. That's something people don't talk about, you know? When you marry into divorce, I mean, they divorced because of her, not me, so why do I have to go to 50 different houses? So she wanted to go visit her parents, and shit, I want to do it in one fell swoop. Now, I've never heard my wife say the phrase one fell swoop. We've been together 20 years, she's never said it. And it felt like someone that day told her, hey, you should start using one fell swoop more. And she goes, I'm about to call my husband. And goes, perfect. Use it 40 to 50 times on him. So she calls me and she goes, I want to go visit my parents. And I want to do it in one fell swoop. And I go, all right, let's do it in one fell swoop. She goes, I want to do it in one fell swoop. I go, let's do it in one fell swoop. You know, let's swoop it up. I'm down. And she kept saying it, one fell swoop, one fell swoop. I mean, over and over again. And then when she went to describe this one fell swoop trip, she goes, we'll go to my mom's, come home, then go to my dad's. And so I just like waited, and she didn't say anything, and I just go, that's not what one fell swoop means. And instead of possibly just being wrong, she goes, I know what one fell swoop means. I go, yeah, it doesn't sound like you do, all right? And we have the same last name. I can't have you out there in a one fell swoop conversation. What do you think two birds, one stone mean? Let's just go through them all. I don't know if you know any of these. She hangs up on me. So I get home, and you know when you walk home and you've been in a fight, and you're like, all right, how long is this fight? Is it happening still? Is it over? I don't know. I got to fill it out, you know? She never uses words like sorry. I'd love to hear that. I mean, that's a word she definitely doesn't know what it means. And I say it all the time. I walk around the house with just a sack of sorries, just handing them out all day. I try to give her some, like, would you like to carry some of these? She's like, I don't have pockets, so I'm good. We didn't talk that whole night. I mean, we're just sitting there, our daughters, like, we're watching TV, eating, and I'm like, hey, you know your mom's crazy, right? And then she's like, did you do your homework, or you don't want to be dumb like your dad? And then your daughter's just like, are y'all lunatics? So I'm laying on the couch, and my wife just came over, and she kisses me goodnight, and then she went to bed. And that was it, you know? That was like, I felt like it was her sorry, I guess. But she didn't say it. And so I was like laid there, and I'm just thinking about it. And you think about it a lot because you're like, all right. Because you learn the longer you get married, sometimes it's like, just let stuff go. You know, who cares? And the next morning I get up, and I kind of still wanted to talk about it. Because we didn't talk all night, you know? So I went into her, I was like, look, I got to tell you, I mean, it's just not what it means, you know? And that got it going real good. But I felt so good about this argument, you know? I thought about it all night. I was like, you got this one in the bag, man. You should bring it back up. I'm not trying to date her anymore. I'd like to win a fight. We're going to die together. I almost woke her up in her sleep. That's how much I was so excited. I almost just started shaking her going, it's not what it means. Our marriage almost ended in one fell swoop. So she runs everything because she knows everything. Like, I don't know any stuff. Like, I don't know how much money we have. Like, could not even ballpark it. I don't even know where it's at. And I don't even know how to get it if I had to get it. What bank we go to? I don't know. Like, you know, I can't get robbed because, like, if some guy's like, let's go to the ATM, you know, it's like, well, I guess we gotta wait for my wife to get here. She can't leave me because I wouldn't know how to get stuff, you know? Like, she can't even die. If she starts dying, I'll die so much faster than her because I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have to call her mom and be like, hey, did she ever bring up bank stuff to you at all? Did you ever talk about that? Or what did she do for a living? Do you know? What was her deal? Me and my wife fight a lot, like normal, you know, like normal fighting. It's easy to fight when you're married, I think. Marriage and prison are the two easiest places to start to fight. Everybody's really tense and on edge. You know, no one remembers why they got there. My wife will get mad, like when I hang out with my buddies. She's always like, oh, you always have so much fun with your friends. You always laugh with them a lot. You know, you never laugh that much with me. It's like, yeah, I hang out with professional comedians. It's a pretty good time, you know? Like, they make jokes, new jokes every day. She doesn't make jokes ever. She makes a lot of lists. She does do lists, though.